Hey team, how we going? It is Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz, and we are back. And it appears YouTube just didn't like our subject. That's what it felt like. 2 seconds.
Wait, this is totally
Wait.
new streaming. Yeah.
Hello?
Yep, I'll just tell them all.
I gotta go. Wait. 2 seconds, team. 2 seconds. This is an important call, sorry. Hey, how you going? Okay, are you with Mama? Okay, I've got to go. Okay, bye-bye. Bye. Sorry about that, team. It's Kaz from In the Trenches with Kaz. The screen's gone all black for a reason. This is our fourth attempt to get you guys online. And one thing you do know is we don't give up. So how fitting for today. The topic is protect your life from you. And what do we mean by that? It is within the theme of living within the trenches for a specific reason. And that reason is we tend to be architects of our own demise. And we've got lovely Lauren here who's been battling through this with me.
Yep,
So before we pitch you for the few questions in a moment and even have a try to put the back screen up in a moment, Lauren is going to introduce herself and also the topic, and then we'll answer some of your questions before we throw some questions at you. So Thomas Caston, great to have you here. We saw you subscribe before. We're almost at 10,000, 10K.
Yep.
The legal amount of money you can put in your bank account before they say, hey, where'd that come from, dude or dudette?
Yeah.
And here's Lauren. She's in my lap.
Yeah, and it's warm and cozy here, and you are dominating the darkness there, Kaz.
Do I smell like salt water?
Don't. As some of you know, I've been streaming every morning for a little while now, and it's usually at 9:30, but tomorrow it'll be 10:30. And tonight's video that Kaz is doing, talking about being down on your luck and how easy it is to be down and out, and how that could be any one of us. Like some of those people in the background of Kaz's thumbnail, they will have had accomplishments. Some of them will even be college educated, and it can happen to anyone. And tomorrow I have a very, very special guest coming on for the stream. He's going to be leaving his cube cheese and olives and coming down to our side of the tracks. A retired Australian Army Major. His name is Stuart McCarthy. He served in the Australian Army for 28 years. He went on 6 operational deployments, and he'll be joining me tomorrow to talk about the Royal Commission that's coming up into veteran suicide, which is a really serious subject, but I've got so many questions and we're going to get them answered. He's also going to take your questions if you're in the chat, and we'll answer them. So if you're confused about it or concerned about it, then pop into my stream tomorrow, 10:30, and we will ask Stuart McCarthy.
Exclusive.
Yeah. Exactly. We're very fortunate to have him coming to chat to us, actually.
Guess who we're also very fortunate about for tonight's topic? In the chat right now, no one knows more about this topic tonight than the man himself, Mr. Buckaroony, prison guard. Also, old man wisdom, was also a cop, was also in the military, achieved the rank of SSM, which is a CSM in infantry. So this guy lives around those and is girt by those that have made mistakes and thrown everything away. And I'm going to throw some topics on here because what I'd like to ask, understanding that the people we have in our chat right now come from a very, very diverse background where some will absolutely be able to hear what we're saying tonight. They're living it. So listen to this for a second. This is some of the things that I put down that can take your life away from you. Protect you from you. And remember, before we start, if you are 18 at the moment, if you were 21, if you were 25, if you were 30, or if you were 35 or 40, remember, you change as a person every 4 years or whenever you go through any type of life-changing event, good and bad. So here's some things. Tell me if you agree or disagree, and I'd love to hear your little stories there in chat.
Yep.
Nicole King, great to have you here.
Indeed. Yep,
Okay.
she knows how great my guest will be tomorrow, so I'm hoping that you'll be able to come along, Nicole, because I know you'd have something to add to the conversation.
That's right. Here's some things that I believe would be able to change your life on a dime. Okay. Wrong friends. Put a thumbs up every time one of these things is you. Maybe you're the wrong friend for some. I doubt it if you're here because you're here because inspiration to do the wrong thing to keep your head above the water. What else, Kaz? What about a criminal record as a byproduct of that? Okay,
Yep.
What if you've never done any illicit substances, but you've got a problem with legal ones, or been out with the wrong friends having legal stimulation via alcohol, etc.? And we'll get to that in a second. Being a victim. If you have a victim mentality, then almost guarantee everything in your life, even when it's going up, it's going to feel like a negative. So you need to get around friends that normally are conservative, because if you go to the left, all they're going to do is drag you down, 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 because there is no happiness over there. So be very careful. The victim mentality lives strong. Bom,
Yeah.
bom, ba, bom.
It doesn't help you. It's not going to help you practically get out of your pickle. If you're just going to sit there and have a pity party, poor me, I'm a victim. Well, you might be, but get up, keep moving, find a reason to. Even if that reason's to help other people who've been in the same situation, but don't help them by enabling that victim attitude.
You got to remold yourself.
Yep.
What about the unfortunate people that are betrayed as a child, that don't even know why they act the way they do, choose the crutches that they do to be able to get through simple life?
Yeah, that's hard.
It's not
That's
their fault at all, but that will only be a mitigating circumstance, okay, in a court of law. So you need to be very careful of that one.
Yeah, exactly. That is very, very difficult because almost everyone, I'm sure Mr. Buccaroni would see in prison, has probably had some sort of problem or abuse in their childhood. And yep, they're victim of it, but they've still made wrong decisions. You've got to work with the hand you've been dealt.
You do. And sometimes the cards are shitty.
Yeah, that's true.
What about reactions of the group? Great guy, law-abiding, lovely person. Okay, and then from there, what happens is you always get the first pick of the girls, but then, okay, you get one pregnant that you didn't want to get pregnant, and she says those words, well, I'm going to keep it, and your own is even saying, you should have been more careful. Okay, what about if someone plays up with your partner, and your reaction to that, this is video in the background is hurting it.
Yeah.
And your reactions put you in the shit. What about a breakup? Men they always put themselves in harm's way after a breakup. It's horrible to see the downward demise of someone who there is someone in their life that they will not even remember in 2 years what they look like, but they'll let that person drag them to the bowels of hell. Mm-hmm. Because they just cannot get past it, whether it's ego, whatever. The last one, Bucko will tell you all about this. Whether you're around the wrong people, whether you're around substance abuse, whether you're around drink driving, whether you're around reactions, is a good old innocent fisticuff. There's no such thing. Because I'm going to tell you, I know guys that have killed guys in fights in bars. And they didn't mean to do that, and they didn't hate the person they were hitting.
Yep.
You hit someone, and these days you pull up a grievous bodily harm charge, you're going to lose your job.
Yep.
Okay, you're going to have a fine of probably more than $50,000, okay, for the damage that you do to someone's dental bills, which force them to press charges because they can't afford it themselves.
Yep.
And you start to spiral down, and then you have a beer. Yep. And then you're not
Yeah.
working, you've got no funds. Then your family thinks, how do you do that? And then you're just getting pushed and pushed and pushed.
Yep, exactly. And it's not going to get better by itself without you actually doing an honest audit of yourself. And the truth is, you are the driver of and commander of your body and your emotions, and you are the one ultimately responsible for how you react to things, how you let your emotions out. So if you learn to master your emotions, you won't be the victim of yourself so much.
Yeah. It is such a luck-driven hand that you have as well. You can definitely do things that can almost assure that you've gone to the ocean as an explorer with a ship with holes in the bottom, that you had no chance because of your own ego, which is normally the architect of most men's downfall.
Yep, and women. That can go for women too.
And mental health. Maybe you don't even know you've got it. If it's not diagnosed, you ain't got it, as far as the court is concerned.
A lot of folks, veterans in particular, because you're a proud bunch, and it's both one of the things I love about you and get really frustrated about you guys, because it can really become a stumbling block to getting the right help.
Can we go to Josh Fawns there? What's he saying there? That's what happened to him last month?
What? He got charged with grievous bodily harm?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to learn to control yourself better, Joshua, especially if you want to join the ADF and be trusted with innocence, because if you're doing that already, then, well, you need to sort some stuff out, because that stuff doesn't happen in vacuum, and at the end of the day, it's and this is going to be unpopular, it's your fault.
Well, that's the way that the courts will see it anyway. Full Metal Barista.
Yep,
mate,
welcome.
What a cool name. Is you're out doing each other with your names. Wait a sec. Nutsu Cow, thank you very much for becoming a member. You've just been promoted to the lowest rank you can be. You're a recruit or a soldier in the chat. Yeah, great to have you here. And the drunk Aussie has just gone to sleep. Look, errors made by being a drunk Aussie.
Oh, and do you have the
Nutsu Cow.
Drunk Aussie needs to go in it.
Have you graduated? What's going on?
Enlistment date, the 5th of July.
The 5th of July? That assures you that you've made a mistake, my friend, because the 5th of July is 2 days after when I joined, and that is about the coldest time of the year you can join. Your nipples are going to go AWOL in 2 different directions when you're standing on that parade ground. July.
I'm going to miss you so much, Drunk Aussie. Like, I miss you all when you go off, but I'm going to miss you so much.
Drunk Aussie has been with us forever.
Yeah, exactly.
I really feel like I need some sort of imagery in the background, but before we do that, what do you think of the new intro?
I am out here for you. You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you.
We choose truth over facts.
Never go for retard. Come on, man.
Which is similar to the old one. Which do we prefer, the first one or the second one? Not all heroes have capes.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, JP's got a good point. Keep your fighting in the ring or the octagon. Do something constructive with it if you feel the urge to be.
It is the amount of tough. It is funny the amount of tough guys will shit himself about getting in the boxing ring.
Yeah, exactly. And Joshua, it's fine. We don't feel sorry for you. I don't. I don't know if anyone else does, because you make a mistake, you should be feeling it. There's actions, consequences, and that goes for anything. You do a positive action, you'll get positive consequences. If you do go belting people, you will and should have to suffer the consequences. Unfortunately, in your case, it may mean your dream career is actually out of reach to you now, and let that be a lesson to other people. Control yourself.
And sadly, that's how we learn the hardest lessons in life.
Yep,
exactly. Is hopefully you watch the lessons made by others and choose not to do that, but still have the character, the maverick within you to still continue to live your life and not be scared. Because I'll tell you something else in a second after I throw out a Nutsu Cow to the Full Metal Barista that just threw a pussy at me.
Yeah, I think it's a little...
Nutsu Cow, he threw the sticker at me. I hope we're not feeling a little bit like, Kaz, what's...
No, background's fine. You actually look really good. And by the way, your hair looks really good tonight.
I did get a haircut today.
Yeah, it looks good.
It was
Looking
that one.
good.
That one.
Yeah, exactly.
Guys and girls, let's listen to you for a second. We all know now that Joshy Fawn's saying happy birthday to Kyle. How old's Kyle?
Kyle Hucker's birthday today. Happy birthday.
How old is he?
How old are you, Kyle?
While we're waiting for that, Mr. Buckaroony, a conviction of grievous bodily harm will have huge consequences on getting in, mate.
Yes,
you need to stay out of prison. That should be your first priority. Make sure you get good legal representation. If you save money on representation, holy shit. One of the sad things about the prison system and the court system, from what I've seen, is everyone is innocent if you're willing to pay for it. You know, I've had a friend that he says it was an accident. He threw a bourbon glass, rum glass, okay, at a nightclub, straight into the face of the barmaid, and she was like Edward Scissorhands. There was splits going everywhere. It cut her to pieces, and he didn't do a day in the clink because he paid for the biggest barrister he could. It cost him a lot, but he didn't even get in trouble. You know, but other people do almost nothing wrong and get absolutely crucified. It's they even say in America there is no justice. There is a legal system, but don't expect justice from it.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, this is why this is an important conversation to have, right? Because a lot of times it'll be your family and your loved ones or society or the cops or even a prison guard who points it out to you that you have a mental health issue. Like Nicole King made an important note as she shared a bit of her story with us, which I appreciate, Nicole, that she didn't realise until she'd made a terrible mistake that she actually had PTSD. I was fortunate in recognising my PTSD because I'd actually been a caregiver for veterans who had PTSD, so I was a bit educated about what to look for. But it's very difficult to come to the acceptance of, oh my gosh, I've got to do something about this, because it'll be the people around you who possibly notice it first.
It's true. And one of the conversations, hey, Aussie V8, is it? Aussie VB? Is that vermin broth? VB? Yeah, mate, not bad. First one. Is this first one better? Number one? Oh, okay. They're talking about the intro. Okay, excellent. Good to have you here too, Aussie VB. Vermin broth, they call it. The cheapest beer in Australia. Though even the people of the First Fleet could have afforded it. I'm going to explain something to you real quick. You know, and this is going to move into what Lauren is talking about tomorrow. From being someone with post-traumatic stress, having a military career, losing all that, losing family, all this sort of stuff. Basically what happened was, it happened over such a long period of time that it was incident after incident after incident that I was getting forgiven for, because I already had enough runs on the board. But they start to fall away. And then all of a sudden you don't have as many people going, yeah, but he's a great bloke. Because you're always going to hear that, but he's a good bloke. And what happens is, the stresses you're having at work, you might be getting forgiven for. But then you're going home and you're having the same stresses at home. And this doesn't have to be PTSD. This can be almost anything, team. It can be anxiety, it can be stresses, whatever. And then your family starts to get the pressure and you start to slowly become unlovable. And it takes longer for friends to ring you. You might not get invited to as many things. You might find that every time you go out, you're the life of the party until 9 o'clock, and then you're the guy with the beer in each hand, and you're starting to be a dick, starting to be a bit sleazy, starting to be a wanker. Drunk Aussie, so to speak. And then what happens is, everything starts to fall out from beneath you, and you realise that you were a castle built on sand. And all of a sudden, you feel like the forgiveness is not coming anymore, and then you get a yellow envelope, a termination notice, a drunk driving offence. I didn't get that. And all of a sudden you're like, what's happening here? And then the people that you go to clutch that are the life preserver aren't there. But if you don't at that stage give up the alcohol, give up all the substances that are bad for you, the friends that are bad for you, that might keep dragging you out onto the source, not allowing you to heal, then you're in a collision course and you don't have many excuses left. And then you move away from where your safe space was, so to speak, the friends, those that tolerated you, and all of a sudden there's no tolerance whatsoever. And then you start to think, nobody loves me, but I'm also unlovable. I feel like I'm a dick. I'm not proud of myself.
Yep.
And that cascades and it gets worse and worse. And then you've got two lanes really left. One is pick yourself up, get rid of the bad things in your life, cut out the rot. Or two, go with it and don't be surprised where it takes you. And that's normally a final solution.
Aussie player from Germany.
Aussie player. We've already told you, sir, this is a paramedic from Germany, of all places. You know, throw on some euros. Not so cow, sir. Your money's no good here, my friend. We want you to be here. You know, we love you. Okay.
He loves you too, so it's mutual. You know.
And look at him. Look at the guy rolling back and forth. You can look like that too. Mate, how many people has Aussie player seen that fit absolutely into this list? Whether it's through illicit substance, whether it's needless violence, whether it's the victim of someone else's violence. There is no winners, team. But we are the architects of our own demise as well as what we achieve. And even if you were a great bloke, even you agree with karma and you know someone that believes in Buddha, that doesn't mean that shit can't come and bite great people on the arse. It happens every single day. And you know what? Bucko can probably point to a bunch of people inside that prison, you know, that are better citizens than what I am and maybe what you are, but through a cascading event, you know, where they became a different version of them and didn't recognize, or it happened so quickly and they had no luck, they're in an irreversible situation and you only get your life once. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And it's that spiraling out of control. Welcome, Ghosty.
Ghosty.
You've got a Ghosty and members.
Ghosty. Melted cheese.
You need to get the...
I was thinking toasty.
...on there.
What?
Investigate that Ghosty.
We are. We've got the paranormal channel that wants to come on, and we're going to do a... We're going to do a four-way Zoom between Lauren, Kaz, Paranormal, and Mr. Buckaroony. So we can fill up the entire screen with that Zoom session, which doesn't imply speeding. I hear what you say, Kaz. It took me 20 years to get diagnosed, working hard to make things better for me and everyone else around me, mate. And that is sometimes where the most art comes from, where the most pain turns itself into something beautiful. You know, and I'll tell you something, mate. This is the sad thing. If you do not have diagnosed situations, they don't exist. If you don't have diagnosed alcohol addiction, drug addiction, depression, whether it be PTSD, whether it be anxiety, you don't have it as far as the system or your friends or family are concerned. It has to be something that's diagnosed. Seek that help and they will try a different way because your way clearly ain't working.
Hey, here's Kim Mills saying, hi, Kaz and Lauren. Aaron marches out this Friday. He'll be marching out with young Tyson too. How awesome is that? It seems a bit surreal. Big thank you for all your advice. It's been paramount to him getting this far. Oh, thank you for being here and thank you for that feedback. And we are so proud of him.
Kim, and you've been an absolute battler, you know, while he's away to look after the munchkins, you know, and we know that, you know, Aaron is the tallest guy that's ever gone to Kapuka. You know, mate, and it's going to be great for you to have your family back. Is there any little confession sessions anyone wants here? Anyone wants to throw in here about themselves? Some words of wisdom that you would like to give to others in reference to mistakes not to make, the path that should not be travelled, etc.
Yes, exactly. There actually already has been some, and I really appreciate everyone, you know, sharing their intimate stories. We're talking about the different kinds of PTSD that a lot of folk in the chat have. And in this particular chat right now, we have folks who have like Michael Stott has been able to eliminate his triggers and things like that. But it's just like he said, there's different kinds of PTSD. I think the what's that place in America that Walter Reed, they looked at it and they found that there was so many different subtypes of PTSD, and it can even depend on your upbringing and even your genetics as to what sort of PTSD you end up with. And we've got everyone from Stoddy right through to, and JP won't mind me saying this, someone who had to have electric shock therapy. So it's we've got the whole spectrum of folks here. And I think we could all agree that it's changed our decisions. We've made bad decisions through it. We've had to face consequences, and probably all of us had to have somebody say to us, what the F, before we took that step to actually, and like Stoddy said, diagnosis, a professional diagnosis is the first step.
And we saw that with Full Metal Barista there, who looks like he's just dodged a bullet, because, as we said, team, I always say it's not the police force. This is not a confession session.
Exactly.
Full Metal Barista says, I confess to experiencing symptoms of depression. Never do this, team.
No.
On my recent medical questionnaire leading to my assessment day, clarified over the phone it was self-diagnosed, and they seemed cool about it. Guys and gals, remember, they're looking for things that are wrong with you, not what is right for you, so they can John West reject you.
Yeah, exactly. And never self-diagnose yourself, because you could actually be totally wrong. You could have a brain tumor or something and you're thinking it's depression. So, that could be serious if you don't actually get a professional to look at it.
And
they are the ones who have a checklist. They have an algorithmic way of figuring out what you've got, because there is a big variety of anxiety disorders and things that can all be very different. And some do have higher risks of self-harm and suicide than others, or some make it hard for you to even control yourself. So,
talking about control yourself, guess who's here?
Chongo.
Chongo. For those that are here for the first time, subscribe, but some of your names just trigger me, I've got to tell you. Chongo, I always think of the Yogo ape, and love it.
Yeah, I think of I always think of Yogo ape. I haven't thought of him for a while. I always think of, what was it called? It wasn't Treasure Island. You guys will know, from the banana splits. Good morning, Jody.
Jody Stevens, how you going, my dear? And look, I'll go back to you in a second, Jody. The Aussie player has just said, Lauren, Germany is all good. I'm at work today. The hands of the angel, the paramedic on the streets of Germany, where the heels, what has no name? I can't remember. You too. Jody, guys and gals, we've got to be, I never give trigger warnings and all that sort of stuff, but Jody has been through more pain than probably most people I've ever known in my life. And Jody from the USA, it's great to have you here. Love and mucho respecto, mate. Yeah, and Jody,
she's really qualified in this subject.
She is, and I think you've been here long enough, Jody, that there's no reason why we shouldn't have a USA moderator.
Yeah, for sure.
And you know what? And it's been, where is he? Where is that zany lad?
What are you doing with Zane?
No. Aussie player 100.
Yeah, if you're giving away a spanner, it should probably be Bretty.
Did Bretty want it, but
are you serious? Do you ever look at chat? Bretty puts his own spanner behind his name before he comments.
Where is he?
It's right there at the bottom of chat.
Well, let's ask. Jody gets Jody gets the ceremonial, and so does Aussie Player 100 gets one, because then now we've got a German spanner and a USA spanner, But Bretty, let's make it harder for Bretty.
Why? It's not like it's already been
because we want to make it fun.
He's not going to want it soon.
Let's hear it, team. Let's hear it. Bretty, thumbs up, thumbs down, sets of 3, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Will Bretty be picked up by the chat. Brady. It's in your hands, team.
You are so wicked.
We don't want Brady to take it for granted.
Are you serious? If Brady came to my chat more often, I would, like, if I saw his name in there, I would make him a moderator straight away. He is the silver spanner. He's the special spanner.
That makes you sound like an idiot.
The silver spanner, it's like the silver surfer.
Well, the streets have no name, Brady. Okay, you got it. So Lauren is saying thumbs up. We've got Carl P throwing in his pollution of 3 thumbs.
Yeah, John's there. G'day, John. I didn't see you there. Ghosty.
XT's happy his mum's coming back on Friday.
Come on, the lurkers in. Pirate. Joss.
Damn, you guys are making it too easy for him. Look, he's throwing his own up there like a dog bone.
We have been watching the chat for a long time. Bravo, Charlie. He's just as...
All right, he's got it.
He's just as cheeky as you guys. About time.
Can we get some thumbs up for Brady, for Jody, and also for Aussie Player? So that gives, in one hit of 3, we've just picked up 3 moderators. We've got Jody, we've got Aussie Player, and we've got Brady Carr. Okay, bam. So thanks to these guys, that gives them the ability to step over their skates and say to someone, hey, dude, this is the answer to that question, and give them the ability to stand out and actually assist you. They'll be in blue now, as you can see. Well done. Left-handed salute, fingers splayed. 2, 3, 4, 5, and down. And
don't try and damage the community, or you will find yourself in the sick bay.
they can send you to the sick bay. They can send you to Elba Island. Who went to Elba Island? Who was it? Lauren? Don't say it.
I don't know.
Who got sent to Elba Island? Brady Carr won the other day with 27 being Casey Stoner's number.
Oh, of course, right. I don't know. Who got sent there? What is Elba Island?
Who went to Elba Island?
What is it?
You'll see in 2 seconds. Look at all the thumbs up.
Yeah, exactly.
Lucky Ivan Milat's gone.
We've been watching the chat for a long time. We know that Brady has been using his own spanner for a long time.
And look at Lurker. You know, he's been using a bidet.
Yeah.
And his hands are covered in his own chocolate.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, gosh. Oh, don't. Oh, how? Yuck. Disgusting.
Look who's here. Look who's here. We've got MVid's USS Wasp. I'm gonna use that saying now. Special spanner.
Napoleon.
Bam. Sab 68. Boom. Right on.
Yeah. And he went to St. Helena as well, right?
Yeah, he got sent to Elba for he got sent over there, then came back, and then they sent an army to arrest him, and then they defected and became his army.
There you go. Yeah, indeed.
Do you know who else was really good at that?
Who else?
Genghis Khan.
Was he?
With the Kipchak Turks. He would go over where they'd use mercenaries, horse soldiers, to assist people to fight Genghis Khan. And then what he would do is send people over and then turn them and say, dude, what do you reckon Genghis Khan's going to do to you, of all people, okay, if you go through the plan and go against him? Instead, come over, join us. This is going to be a slam dunk, and you can have an equal share of the spoils. They'd come over, they would help him, or they'd turn on the battlefield and then suddenly turn around and attack their own. And then when it was all over, Genghis Khan, kill them all.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hey, there's Big Fella.
Big Fella.
Saying, hey, Kaz and team, only stopping in for a bit. Can't watch tonight as family dinner before I leave for Kapuka on Monday. Thanks for all the help, legends. I'll watch the stream tomorrow. Love your work. Well, we love you. That's great.
Big fella, you're about to go off at the coolest and coldest time. You know, and again, your nipple's going to get worn off by your Howard Green equivalent. You're going to be standing on parade grounds with the wispy wind. Okay, and you'll be thinking of this.
I am out here for you. You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you.
We choose truth over facts.
Never go full retard. Come on, man.
Oh, I actually like that.
Josh Cup really enjoys your history. He wants some more history lessons.
Who's that from?
Joss.
Joss. Okay. Did you know that the Khazarian Shah went basically got a letter from Genghis Khan saying that we will leave you alone. Okay, he was in Iraq. He said, we will leave you alone, but when we call for you, you will send troops, you will send food, you will send replacement weapons and arrows, etc. And he said, yeah, okay. And then they went to battle, and they didn't send anyone. And so he sent a letter over and said, and a vassal, and sent someone over and said, oi, Genghis Khan wants to know why you didn't send troops. And he wrote back, I'll get this letter quotation for you. It's the most powerful thing I've ever read.
Yeah,
and he wrote back to him, basically, go screw yourself. And Genghis Khan wrote back to him, I am not fighting anyone at the moment, so my entire might is coming to see you. And there will be no bricks left standing when this is over. Thank you for your letter. Because he'd written to him basically in the letter about why didn't you melt down nails? You could have created arrowheads. Why didn't you send troops? He's going, when I come there, I'm going to drag you up like a lion, for you to answer to me. Anyway, but what happened was they went over there. They did so much damage to Iraq that it took them over 700 years to recover. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Okay, Nicole King's off to bed. Have a good sleep. See you tomorrow, Nicole.
Nicole, and I hope this subject is not too deep or makes you feel bad. You're someone that could have sat right beside us and been able to give explanations on different situations too.
Yeah, and she did in the chat, and it was very helpful what she said. And her and I are a bit in a similar boat. We're both just going to have to deal with this for the rest of our lives, and accepting that is sort of self-care in a way, because then we're not always, beating ourselves up if we don't seem to be getting better. Yeah.
Oh, that's Rob Stewart, not Rod Stewart. I thought we've got a celebrity here.
Rod Stewart.
Yeah. Back to Jody. Jody, all I'm going to say, team, is I look at Jody as a gold star mother, someone who lost a son in military service, and that's not her only child that she's lost. So, to Jody, mucho respecto, a lot of love.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and just a warning for you, Jody, tomorrow in my chat, if you're thinking of popping in, we are touching on the subject of veteran suicide. You are more than welcome to come along if it won't hurt you in any way, and because your input would be absolutely valuable. Because what's happening now in Australia at the moment is we're getting a royal commission into veteran suicide, which was actually driven by the mothers of young men who have taken their own lives.
We just had a subscription as well from TYS XX, I think it was, unless it's TYS with kisses.
Right, there you go.
Peace sign to you.
Did you read Rob Stewart's actual comment?
No, I never got to it.
My mate Steve Bryce told me to introduce myself. Oh yeah, we love Steve.
We do love Senor Brycey.
Because he's X24.
Yep, so am I.
And he's today.
Oh, he's X24 himself.
Yep, exactly.
So am I. Bravo Company, 4 Platoon. Rocket Ruthen was my section commander. Yeah. Mr. O'Halloran was my platoon sergeant. Yeah, awesome. That was crazy times, my friend. Crazy times. It got a lot better after 2-4 was disbanded, actually. The brutality went, and then it started to be a little bit more operational centric, where bad behaviour quite often got stamped out. It actually became better. Kyle.
Yeah.
We sort of jumped around everywhere here, team, because what was meant to be occurring was an interactive video playing in the background showing skid rows where we were explaining that no matter what you've done in your life, good or bad or middle ground, there is things that you can do that can expunge everything that you've ever done good and make it all go away in an instant. And it can normally happen at the start of a night where you had plans for tomorrow. Okay, and that is a sad reality, that good people do bad things. You know, and I believe there's less forgiveness now than there has ever been. You know, everyone's pretending to be nicer now, pretending to be more woke, but I think it's more brutal, more backstabbing, more disingenuous than it's ever been. All at the same time, while people are pretending to cure you while giving you a diagnosis that can close doors for the rest of your life while they earn $200, $300 an hour. That's why our psychiatrists and psychologists need to be very careful that they're not destroying lives instead of trying to save them.
Exactly, and that's why I think it's going to be really excellent when Stoddy himself starts practicing, because the more people we get in there who actually have some sort of working knowledge of what the reality of these issues feel like and look like in someone's life, surely the better someone's life can be fixed. And I know I would find it easier to even trust a therapist who had some sort of experience with the issues that I'm seeing them for.
Yeah, and I'm always concerned at the young, the age that people go into the industry. You're going, what have you got to offer?
Yeah. JP had a terrible therapist once. He only went once, and she was like a teenager practically, and she gave him a pink notebook to write down how he felt. Yeah. And, you know, how's he going to explain active service events that have happened to her, you know?
I've been on formal veteran, PTSD courses where, again, we had young girls, basically, that were checking our language the way we spoke. And you're going, hey, do not tell people halfway through a sentence where they're telling all, and it wasn't me, that were telling all, then check them for the way they speak when they're there for help.
Yeah, exactly. Try listening to what they're saying and just forget the words. You know, let them just say it.
Robbie Stewart was Bravo Company, 5 platoon.
Skull Helmrich.
4 section. Skull Helmrich was platoon sergeant. He ended up, Skull Helmrich he's a different kind of guy. That guy is Beetlejuice, He was brilliant at things. In the 1994, he was the one that also trained me for Duke of Gloucester Cup. We were the last Duke of Gloucester Cup before it became 2RR and 4RR, which later became 2 Commando. It's funny, man. Just our timelines are so short. We can put so much on it. We skate past each other. I've written poems on timelines, how we weave in and out of each other's lives, and when it's over, bam, your line then ceases. But so many times our line crosses people almost at a right angle. The only opportunity you'll ever have in your lifetime to make an impact on that person, and either through how stuffed it is these days, I am Mazzy Keen. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Great to have you here. Can we get some thumbs up for I am Mazikeen to drop a question right now if you can, so we start to remember your name and get to know you, please.
And someone asked if you were okay, and I'd just like to point out sometimes it's scary when people think that they hear about you going to PTSD courses, or they hear that you've been diagnosed with PTSD. Look, Kaz is one of the best examples of living well and a good quality of life with PTSD. It doesn't mean that we haven't struggled with it in the past or that we're going to struggle with it in the future, but we both have really good support networks, professional and social, and Kaz is truly an awesome example and a great coach for other people, which I was telling you today, Kaz, and it's true. So don't worry about him. He's good. He knows how to do this. He will reach out. He has a lot of people to reach out to.
This is one of the things, and thank you very much for that, by the way. This is one of the things I did. My life absolutely hit a brick wall. It absolutely did. And I can go into that in other days. I've got poems that I've written on my experience. So condenses it all the way down, and speaking on behalf of those that don't know how to put their feelings into words, and that was helped. Hey, Herbert's just subscribed. Can we get some thumbs up for Herbie here? Make them sets of 3 if you're in the Carl P cult. I understand. And Jaden, Costanzo. Is that like Costanza? George. And some thumbs up for George too. I cut the alcohol. I didn't have a problem with illicit drugs. I stopped going out. But I also lost my family. And I lost my career. And at the moment, I had to remake myself, distract myself, and that's what we do here with this YouTube channel. And everything we talk about is to do with the trenches. You in the trenches, I'm already here. Okay, when you see my subscribe button, not the little Roman soldier there, but what you'll see is a picture of me digging with my friends, okay, on a little box that's on our channel. That is actually at a massacre site, at a religious monument, which was where there was an apparition, a vision of Mary 15 years earlier. I'll get that poem out for you. I don't know what to call it properly, whether to call it Cabello, whether to call it beyond the blue flag, all beneath the blue flag waving, which I initially called, because all of this carnage happened below the United Nations flag, which watched, but felt like God was not there. Zach Cook. What did you cook, Zach? Zach's a good name. Zach's a good name. Can we get some thumbs up there for Captain Cook if he was to actually join the military or the Navy, but it'll take you longer in the Navy. PK, hi Kaz, have you been following the Arizona and Georgia forensic vote audits in the USA? How good is Rod DeSantis from Florida? DeSantis is amazing. He is the real deal. He really is good. And sometimes what we see is initial people come in and they become the fertilizer for something else that comes after that is better. Apple iPhone's an example. Jody Stevens, I expect 800K of these poems and worked out. You're a great wordsmith.
It's a book. You should have gone to Specsavers. It says book.
For those that don't know, I've written a personal poem, for James Merritt Hupp, which is the son of Jody Stevens and Maddie.
Yeah, Kaz is a great poet. It's one of the first things we clicked about is I love poetry. Kaz is a poet.
Yes, thank you. I like leather. I like parchments.
Yes, thank you for your art.
It's the quickest way to condense an emotional message. The reason why I used to use it, and this is within the trenches and also the topics we're talking about now. And I'm going to quickly tell them something, because this runs true of what you're doing tomorrow.
Yep.
This is one of the things that made me very, very angry about the military. We have a thing called mandatory training. Jody would know all about this. And Jody, please stay with me here. One of them is suicide awareness. The Army, they will tell you, if they believe that you're a threat, they'll ask you straight, are you considering self-harm? Okay, but they'll say the actual word, but YouTube doesn't like that word. Anyway, what happened was there was there's only like once or twice in an entire year that the psychologist, psychologist, it's almost like a counsellor, not really a psychologist because they don't actually give you the drugs, etc., got up and gave a really shit lesson as part of that package. And it was basically just putting on a video where the medical officer had said, play this for them, and that's done. They'd done no work. They hadn't made this to suit the veterans, all infantry pretty much, that were in the crowd at the School of Infantry.
Yep.
And they delivered that. And I said, hey, that is not good enough. At the moment, I've already done one PTSD course. I'm about to do another one. Clicks, just subscribe. Great to have you here, Clicks. Click go this year, boys. Click, click, click. Thumbs up for Clicks. And anyway, and some likes if we can, team. And basically what occurred was I decided, I'm a man of few words, as you know. And I stood up and said, that's not enough. that's basically dog shit. You know, I can let you know from a soldier's perspective who is going through all of this and understands the pain, the invisible wounds that some go through who reluctantly don't want to reach out and say, I'm in a bit of trouble here.
It's hard. It is hard. I have total compassion for those folk.
It is hard because you will lose your job.
And also, you're not thinking right. You will also think about what that means if you lose your job. And sometimes PTSD can lead to catastrophizing.
It can.
Which means thinking the worst possible scenario when it may not even happen.
But also when you say it out loud, it becomes real.
Exactly right. But you do have to do that.
Yeah. So, I basically gave a solution and said, I would like to get up and I will make a presentation that suits those in this room that is one of their brothers talking to them that they need to hear from someone who's actually leaving the military because of this very reason, how it feels, how to identify the signs, how to prepare yourself for what happens next. And the explanation that came from an officer, and I'm not going to drop names here, said to me, but you are not qualified to deliver that information. And I'm going, I am the person, the client, okay, that the professionals speak to. You know, when we're in Townsville,
You know how everyone else.